Hey, welcome everybody. Oh, make sure we got set up here. All right, welcome. So we got Elena and Christian. I see. I've also got Sophie on our program. But we'll wait to see if she comes. One second. Let me get our live stream going. Okay, it has started. Okay, so welcome y'all. The first thing to just a reminder: make sure your original sound is on when you play, and tell us the name of your piece, and then we can maybe get into a couple things on it. Um, Let me just make sure I've got all your music on here. Okay. All right. So how about we'll wait for Sophie to come on here in just a minute. Um, how about Elena? Would you be able to start us off?
Sure, I can.
Okay. And what would be playing for us today?
I'm going to be playing Hopscotch Polka.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just playing the first page, so you know.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice. Okay. Okay, good job, Elena. Okay, that was sounding good. What's been the trickiest thing so far as you learned this piece?
Probably all the like moving around in the left hand.
Oh, so yeah, like the leaps up in the left hand there. I see
Yeah.
what you mean. Oh, yeah, yeah. Especially when you get out of yeah. So, there's a couple reasons that's a little bit tricky, right? So there one thing when we're practicing, right? So when you're practicing each left hand thing, right? There's kind of the hopping between each pair of notes, right? So that's an immediate thing that's kind of tricky. Now, what you may not, I mean, you probably think about it in this, right? Is since your right hand is also a little tricky, it's you know double difficult because you're trying to sync it up with your right hand, right? So your hands are doing different things. Um, all that is to say, one way you could practice this instead of trying to play all of the left hand, like just map out the lowest note. Right make sure you've done your left hand by itself with all the notes so you know exactly what fingers you're using. And this is probably, yeah, this might be five again. Depending on what you want to do. Right. So you could practice all of the right hand, but just the lower notes of the left hand, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
So try, can you try that once maybe? Like for I like the first four
Yeah.
measures or so. Hmm. Now play the full right hand with just that left hand. Yeah, right. So
Yeah.
really that gives you right, that gives you a way to really focus on where are my left hand notes syncing up with my right hand on count one, right? So on count one, I want to be here. That gives you a way to practice that without having to do all of the left hand and all of the right hand. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So that was good. I would recommend that. And so like to zoom out, and this is probably, this is gonna be helpful for Prisha too. Remember, y'all, as you get into trickier pieces, you typically work on, well, let's work on the left hand alone, the right hand alone, and put hands together, right? Now there, when you have music where you've got multiple layers like this, it's still good to practice left hand alone and right hand alone. But really in this piece, we've got, at least, I mean, I'm not even getting into the right hand. Right, but you've got at least three layers because your left hand is really doing a bass note and then a chord, part of the chord, right? So bass note, a little bit more chord tones.
Yeah.
Um, right. So not only do you want to think about practicing each hand alone and then putting it together, but think about maybe some different combinations of layers as well. Okay. Yeah. So that was nicely done. I just say that because you're working, you're going to work on the second page and all now. Nice job. All right. So great job. Lex. All right. So Prisha, are you ready to play?
Yeah.
All right. And what will you be playing for us today?
I'm going to be playing Sonatina in C major from memory.
Okay. All right. Great job, Prisha. All right. Yeah, that was terrific. Well done. And that was all memorized. So nice job with a lot of the details there. Um, so I get, same place we started with Elena. So what was your experience like learning this piece, and what was the trickiest thing maybe about memorizing? Not only learning, maybe memorizing.
Like the trickiest thing was probably like having all of the parts at the same tempo and like not having
Mm.
pauses, which I still may need to work on a little bit. So
Yeah, bringing all the 16th note stuff into the same. Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot of 16th notes here. Um, yeah, and so you did a lot of really nice detailed work with some of the dynamics and the articulation as well. So that was nice. All right, so let's pick a tricky. Hmm. Where's a let's try let's try the C major scale here. So can you try at measure, oh, there it is, 73. Can we try this scale? So if you're going this speed, um, you know, if you're going that speed, right, we want to get that scale. So what ways did you practice to get that in line at the same tempo?
so I practiced with the metronome and like in places like
Mm.
mainly the 16th notes. I tried like making sure my thumb would jump to the next note and
Mm.
would jump quicker, so then there weren't like as many pauses.
Yeah, so can you practice, and let's start it, just because we have a couple minutes here. We don't have to do the whole thing, but just as an example, I'll show you. So I'm gonna go all the way. Ooh, 1 second. Make that line not quite as intense there. Okay, let's start. I'm just gonna start with this bit. Right, we've got that. I think, right, not too much crossing there, just at the very end. So notice I'm going all the way. I'm not going to the last 16th note. I'm going all the way to the note where we exit the 16th notes, right? So usually something to remember about whenever you've got to run, and this is for Elena as well, because this is pretty general. Whenever you've got fast notes that are part of some sort of decoration or some scale, usually they're leading our ear to a longer note at the end, right? So when you practice it, make sure you never cut off the scale, the fast notes from the landing point at the end, right? So here, right, I'm going to do, I've got da 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 da. So that's kind of the end of this little scale part. But then we can back up, and I'm trying to do this not so much rhythmically. I'm trying to look as well mechanically, and I'm trying to look for the next place we've got like a finger crossing, if that makes sense. Um, so we've got that part there. Right. So then you can add that on. So I would do this one slice of time to the next waypoint. So I'm going from the C here, and I believe it should be, yeah, my thumb on C. So the crossing over is at the beginning of that and to the F sharp. So can you try just that little bit for me really quick, Christian? Yep. And I would start with your thumb, start with the C with your thumb too. Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah. And so one thing I would recommend with this, I know the scales are, I'm not saying don't move your fingers at all. Is it what takes longer for your finger to get to the key, when it's farther away or when it's like right on the keys?
Uh, when it's
Right. So focus on focus on maybe not, if you're noticing that you're kind of getting your fingers really high like that. That, I mean, that can be good. You want your fingers to move, but make sure, especially in these scales, right, you're not getting too crazy with how high they're getting, right? Um, Especially when you're crossing, right? So instead of bum bum, right, we're da 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 da, right? So make sure you're always kind of moving your fingers in this way. Yeah, try that one more time. Yeah, and just go to the F sharp for now, because that can be the next kind of, yeah, right. And then again, yeah, working your fingers, getting a little hand motion in there. But that's, I mean, you can, obviously build that in little snippets from the very end of that and keep working backwards. So then you feel more confident about it. Um, One other thing that, and this is interesting because I know we come across this articulation, and I noticed you were kind of doing this in a certain way, which I think I know why you're doing it, but it stuck out a little bit. And this is, again, the second important thing I wanted to draw your attention to. Right. So at the beginning here we have, dun 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 dun. So, and I know it's hard to see in the printing, but you were doing this well. So you have a tenuto, dun dun. So the tenuto, I mean, you can see from the little diminuendos too, right? The tenuto, we we say it's about holding the note at its full length, or like holding it a little extra. Um, but I mean, these are all under a slur, so you're supposed to hold it out and connect all the notes anyway, right? So I mean, a tenuto is almost like a little bit of an accent. It's like a little bit of a lean on a certain note. So think of it that way, right? And you were doing this well, right? Now it's the staccato. So this is a little tricky, and this is the thing I wanted to draw your attention to, right? When you've got a slur and then it ends with a staccato note. So can you what does a staccato determine how you come down on the note or how you exit the note?
how you exit.
Yeah, so what I was noticing, it sounded a little bit like, right? And so I know you're doing the motion, you're making it sound staccato. Um, I want to see if you can try it without making it accented, if that makes sense. So just pretend like in this case, right? It's just telling you connect all the notes, and then instead of kind of it getting off the last note of the slur in like a relaxed way, just make sure you're releasing the note a little bit sooner. Da-na, da-na. So you're like da da. So it's just that the lift happens a little bit more quickly, but try not to emphasize it. Try to get that diminuendo. Can you try that one more time with that right hand? Yeah, yeah, good. And I know it's really tricky, right? So, and I think again, what's going to help you here for a different reason is when you keep your fingertip really close on the key, it's easier to control the softness, right? It's easier to control the dynamic, and then you can really gently drop it down into the key. So the other the other um the other end of that is make sure with the tenuto you're really leaning on that note a little bit dynamically too, so that you have room to kind of go back and release the staccato. So try it one more time. Maybe get a little bit more drama. Or I did that too much. Right. But yeah. So really lean on the tenutos. Try that one more time. Yeah, yeah, good, good. I know that's really tricky. So that's a very fine tuning issue. I just noticed you were doing the articulation so well. I wanted to see if we could refine that even further, because that's a particularly difficult kind of thing to do the staccato release with a slur. But nicely done. And so yeah, both of you really well done. Thank you for playing. Great work, and I'll see you next time you perform. Thanks, y'all.